If you were a sea turtle egg, your odds of reaching adulthood are just 1 in 1,000. First, only 80% of the clutch actually hatch. Fresh out of the shell, you're buried deep under a heavy layer of sand, and your very first hurdle in life is using those pitifully tiny flippers to claw out of your sandy prison. Move too slow and you'll suffocate. Think breaking out of the sand means freedom? Think again. The birds on the beach already got the memo that dinner is served. Next, instinct drives you to crawl toward the brightest light, a trick that's worked for millions of years, until humans turned the coast into a city that never sleeps. Dazzling city lights lured many of your brothers inland to a confusing death. The survivors rushed toward the ocean, but your flippers can barely move on the sand, making you stumble along like a little drunk turtle. Stumbling forward, a crab suddenly snatches the brother beside you. One by one, your siblings are dragged away. All you can do is scramble ahead for dear life, terrified to look back or stop. Stop, and you're next. Just like that, after minutes of agonizing struggle on the sand, the waves are finally right in front of you. You dive in with all your strength, plunging into the freezing water. By now, half of your siblings are left behind on the shore forever. You think you're safe. Nope. You just stepped into the world's biggest buffet, and you're the first item on the menu. A shadow flashes, a barracuda. You scramble into deep water, surprisingly agile. The fish takes one look and turns around. It just spotted your sibling who hit the water after you. With others looking tastier, you survive by luck simply because eating you takes too much effort. But before you can catch your breath, more predators swarm in, forcing you to dive deeper and deeper. Just hours after birth, you've already lost 70% of your companions. For the next few years, you drift through the open ocean, hiding in dense beds of sargassum. It's both your snack bar and sanctuary. You feed on jellyfish, snail eggs, and plankton, growing day by day as your shell slowly hardens, finally reaching a point where you're no longer an easy bite for everyone. As a sea turtle, you're a lung-breathing reptile. You have to surface regularly to breathe. Luckily, your respiratory system is super efficient, refilling with oxygen in just seconds. You can hold your breath for 40 minutes while hunting, and even longer while resting. But when time is up, you still have to head up for air. One time, just as you poked your head out of the water, suddenly, a screech echoes. A frigate bird swoops down right above you. It skims past your head, almost snatching you up like sushi. You quickly dive deep. Green sea turtles can plunge below 300 meters, but going deep won't solve everything, as an even bigger shadow appears. A tiger shark, and it's hooked on your scent. You quickly dodge left and right, weaving underwater like an F1 car. The shark chases relentlessly, but with your insane stamina, you outrun it long enough to spot a coral reef and dive headfirst into a narrow crevice. Too big to squeeze in, the shark gives up. After hiding in the dark for a while, you finally dare to poke your head out, surviving once again. Now you eat seagrass and algae, basically becoming a cow of the sea. But there's a huge catch. Plastic bags in the water look identical to seagrass. One wrong bite means death. You still remember watching a companion swallow a plastic bag, choke, and sink away. Ever since that day, you taste everything before swallowing. Plastic lacks chew, while seaweed is crisp. That simple trick has saved your life thousands of times as you drift through the open ocean. Relying entirely on ocean currents like a free conveyor belt, you reach subadulthood 5 to 7 years later. Shell-hardened, flippers strong, and craving seagrass, you leave the open ocean for coastal seagrass beds. Green sea turtles don't truly reach adulthood until around 20 to 30 years old. By then, you're about a meter long and weigh 100 kilos, with a dark brown shell that doesn't look green at all. So, why are you called a green sea turtle? Because your fat is green. You're green on the inside, not the outside. Once you reach this age, an ancient primal urge surges inside you. It's time to find a mate. You set off again, destination clear, the breeding grounds. After swimming thousands of miles, you arrive, pick a spot, and wait. Days pass with nothing. You look around, and man, turns out you're just one of countless single turtles, and every last one is male. Not a single female in sight, so you start training early, knowing that when one appears, the competition will be a total war. Finally, she arrives, swimming over from afar like a queen. Every male turtle locks in, and you're no exception. The underwater battle for a mate officially begins. You swim right up to your rival, puffing out your neck to look as big as possible. He refuses to back down, and another joins in. Soon, several 100-kilo turtles are locked in an underwater standoff. A young male strikes first, but you slam into him with a side tackle. He rams him off with his shell, but then the biggest male charges in. Now that's the real tough guy. The two rear up in the water, slapping flippers, snapping, and straight up biting. Meanwhile, the female just watches quietly from the side, casually munching on seagrass. Wearing a face that says, "I've seen this episode before," he's probably watched this play out 100 times. The fight can last for hours, a pure test of endurance where whoever breaks first is out. Another male tries to sneak up from behind, but you spin around to deliver a massive turtle punch. You charge right in. Eventually, the other males back off one by one, you win, and the female chooses you. You use your specialized claws to latch onto the edge of her shell, diving into deeper waters for a brief, private moment. Once you're done, you move on to the next one. It's exhausting work, but for the species, it's gotta be done. As mating season ends, you're left covered in fresh scars, your flippers worn pale. If you're a male, you return to the bachelor life, casually coasting back to the seagrass pastures to kick back. But if you're a female, the main event is just getting started. You must return to the beach where you were born. Your brain has a natural compass that senses Earth's magnetic field with GPS-like precision, guiding you back to the shore where you hatched. You've arrived, now start crawling ashore. In the water, you're as graceful as a pilot, but on the beach, you're like an overturned tractor. You find a relatively safe spot, dig a perfect nest with your rear flippers, and lay about 100 eggs. After burying them carefully, a new round of the lottery begins.